Hi, I'm Corey and welcome back to Diary of a Blonde Mom. Okay, so last time I went over the curriculum picks that I have ready and set to go for my almost third grader. Today I'm going to go over the curriculum picks that I have here from The Good and the Beautiful for my oldest daughter who is going into sixth grade. One thing I do want to touch on is I really focus here on making sure that my kids fully understand the concept before moving on. That being said, it's kind of like in California, there's something called No Child Left Behind, except I really believe that and am willing to put in time with each of my kids to make sure that they're fully understanding content before we move on. So I do that in different ways. Sometimes we let something go and come back to it. Sometimes we take a couple days to play a game that has to do with that same topic. I guess I'm referring more to math. Math is usually what we end up taking some different detours on. This year for fifth grade, it's just been a lot more labor intensive. And my daughter uses a communication device that is absolutely amazing. It is more labor intensive because she uses her eyes and the device tracks where her eyes are. And so she has to select each and every single number or word when she communicates. But she selects each and every number instead of writing it down quickly. And we love technology. It's absolutely amazing. Sometimes it doesn't work as immediately as she wants it to though. And over a period of time after doing schoolwork and pretty vigorous schoolwork because she's an awesome kid and she's just on it constantly. Her imagination and her schoolwork is amazing when she puts her mind to it, and I'm so impressed with her. Anyways, my point, going back to my initial point, is for math, we're still working on her fifth grade math book for this school year, but I'm also going to be working on some of the fifth grade math for this coming school year. So we'll see how far we get through. I always complete all curriculum, no matter what. I just don't want any huge gaps in learning, and I really like the way that The Good and the Beautiful goes through different concepts and continues to build on those concepts as the curriculum moves forward. So I'm not going to just, we're moving on to the next grade, because we're not going to skip through it. So I encourage you to do the same. Take it at your child's pace. If it's a brand new topic, it's okay if they're having a little bit of a hard time, because you can help them take time to learn it. And it's not like they're only seeing that topic once. It's going to come up again. So they have more time to work through it, to learn the new concepts. And so that's what I have to say about which math that we're using. Also, I always make sure I have the answer key, because once in a while, something I'm just not sure about, that's for language. And anyways, the answer key is always nice to check. It shows the pages. This is like 4 different pages on an open layout here. But I'm pretty sure how they've done it is every single page that's in the math textbooks is in here. So you can see it all broken down. Anyways, I encourage you, unless you're awesome at math, it's not my strong suit, to be completely honest. I absolutely love language arts, but I encourage you to get the answer keys. You never know when you might just have to take a quick peek. It also makes for faster grading too. So especially in the older grades, when you're reviewing their independent work as well as their practice work. So in here for next year, there's mental math checkups, practice, and reviews. So it would make it a lot faster to go ahead and check their progress if you do that. I always make sure I go through it, And any problems that they get wrong, I always, after the fact, will go through the problem with them and help them figure out where it was that they went wrong. We can't learn if we don't see where we made a mistake. Sometimes it's just a complete accident, or sometimes you're missing the concept. So that's something I do here. So math for 6th grade comes in not one course book, but 2, showing you thicknesses. I'm not sure why they put it into 2. Let's see here. Just gonna flip, oh, that's a review unit. So here's a random lesson, lesson 23. There's a warm-up here, which typically the warm-ups would be, oh, okay, so what they're doing here.
Is the film ready?
Oh, no, the snack isn't ready yet, okay? Give me a little bit of time and I'll bring it to you, okay?
Oh, and the fridge is a little bit hot.
Oh, okay. Okay, so there's a warm-up here. And so we like to take advantage of the video lessons. So there's a QR code, which brings up a video lesson. They're 7 to 12 minutes or so, somewhere around there. And I really like the way that they break it down on there. If you don't want to do a video lesson, they give the option of a mini lesson. So that's either, I guess your child might be, if that's your child's speed and where they're at, they could probably teach themselves. Otherwise, you can teach them through this mini lesson, or say your internet goes out that day, or say you're, I don't know, out camping or what have you, taking your curriculum with you and maybe you don't have access to that technology. There is a mini lesson written and available to you. We do like to use the video lessons here. My daughter really enjoys it. They usually give some context, to the new concept, and we appreciate that. So after the lesson, it appears here, it's pretty much the same as what we're doing for 5th grade. There's the practice, this is more practice, and this is review. I do all this work with my daughter because she has cerebral palsy. So I'm recording her answers, and I usually have a whiteboard nearby that she tells me what to do, and I write down what she's doing to help her through the equations. And also, like I mentioned, as the math levels get higher, so does the amount of work in terms of solving each problem, each equation. The next thing that I'm going to go over is the geography and grammar cards. So this is actually our 2nd pack of these. It just came with the kit, and we have, so it states right here for 5th through 7th language arts and literature courses. So these just have different geography and grammar things to master. I believe we've been working on the states and the capitals. There's also grammar things, what is a noun, things like that. So they're perforated. You go ahead and take them all apart, put them in 3 different bags, and the ones that you haven't learned yet, or your child hasn't learned yet, you have in a not learned bag. The ones that your child has learned, or I'm sorry, is learning, you put in the learning bag, like Ziploc baggies is all you need. And the ones that your child has mastered, you go ahead and put in that 3rd bag. So this is the course book for Language Arts Level 6, and she's already, I believe, over lesson 100 in her current 5th grade book. And let's see here. There are also 120 lessons in this one here. So I absolutely love that their language arts just shows such amazing places. They're also really big on showing different art. Let's see if I can find some art. I just, thinking about when I grew up, like we'd learn about different artists, but I don't feel like there was a huge appreciation for different pieces of artwork. And the directions always seem to have the kids really examine the art, and sometimes they do give a little bit of a background. In years past, they've given a little bit of a background on an artist. Mainly, I noticed that they have you study the art to either pick out things like, for example, contrasted with the darkness in the picture, the light feels hopeful and beautiful. And sometimes they even have you do a writing exercise based off of the art. For example, I'm just pulling this out of thin air, something similar to the idea of, based on the paint, imagine you're in this painting, how would it feel, how would it smell, what would you see, like using your senses, or using adjectives. Like they ask for you to do specific things based on a painting. And I really like how they have that focus on art. It really brings a great appreciation of art. Here, let's see here. Oh, this lesson, I guess, would have been spelling. And then there's this book here. Let's see. It's requiring you to read a part from Elizabeth Kenny. Okay, I'm not sure where that, oh, you know what? Their art course also has you, requires this book. It's the level 6 reader. Now, if you watch the video from my second grader going into 3rd grade, her curriculum that I have chosen, you would remember that her reader has different parts. One part for the student to read, one part for the parent to read. This isn't like that. This is something that by this age, they should be reading on their own. And if your child is still, it's just a regular chapter book. And then there's usually multiple chapters within the book. So it's just the whole reader. And you will study this entire book with all the stories inside throughout the course of the school year. If your child's still struggling reading, you can always take turns reading a paragraph at a time or a page at a time together. You can fit your curriculum to where your children's needs are. That's one of the main reasons why we homeschool, and being able to just help them succeed based on meeting them at where their needs are and helping them continue to grow and move on when they're flying through something is, I'm just so appreciative that we can do that for our girls. So along with reading that, a story out of that book in this lesson, it appears there's some spelling work to do. And it says that there's an art project, so they'll give you typical materials. Usually you don't need very much. If it's more than just paper and like a pencil, an eraser, ruler, they'll usually, a few lessons prior, will give you a heads up that you're gonna need extra supplies coming up. This curriculum though is very, very open and go. And by open and go, I mean you open up to next lesson and you shouldn't need extra, you shouldn't have to worry about having to get extra supplies to get that lesson. Like, oh, guess we can't do it. This is not like that. If you need extra supplies, they give you a heads up. And they also, at the very beginning, in their overview, they do talk about which, like, additional items that are needed just over the full course, and that's like a charcoal pencil, cotton swabs, and they do also, they mention the reader, a set of pastels, and this book as well. So you'll have the course book, the geography and grammar cards, this book, and the reader. My daughter is also absolutely amazing at diagramming a sentence. I really think it's gonna help her long term in being able to put together a sentence that is very descriptive and just informational. I've really been blown away with how well she's done with that. So that's kind of an idea of a sample lesson for language. And again, I went ahead and got the language arts answer key. Once in a while, I'm like, wait a minute, are they using this as an adverb or an adjective or what have you? So sometimes it's just nice to be able to have a source to double check. For science, we are doing the same thing for my oldest as we are for the last video that I did for my going almost third grader. So we're doing wonders of energy, mammals, and motion and simple machines. I don't think I showed it last time, but so those are just the student journals. These are the course like parent workbooks. They're really, really super simple. They are mostly open and go. From the beginning, they tell you a list of the supplies that you need. It lists out the vocabulary. There's vocabulary cards in here that you could, if you have a little wall or a magnetic board, you can cut out and go ahead and put your words up on the board that you are working on that day. A lot of people do notebooking, depending on what the word is and what my focus is on. I might have them copy down the word, the definition, or make an illustration of it inside their notebooks. But this literally tells you exactly what to say. So this one, I just randomly flipped open, lesson 7. This is about light energy. Here, something that The Good and the Beautiful does too is they really integrate poetry into all of the curriculum. And so there's the snack's not ready yet. Hold on. There's a poem right here. They tell you exactly what preparations need to be done. The kids made a little treat earlier, and they're waiting for it to cool. So it says, read to the children. Like literally, they spell it out for you. And they also, in case you have a moment and you're like, I don't know what the answer to this is, they have parentheses and the answer is right inside. So you don't have to second guess yourself. It's all right here. They got you. Read to the children. There's an activity. If there are, sometimes they have you watch a certain video and they'll have the little watch online symbol here. I'm not sure if you guys can really see that well. They'll have you watch the video online. Sometimes if there's an experiment and say you don't have, maybe you forgot, maybe you don't have the resources to get whatever supplies you need. They have the website that also does the experiment so they can still see the experiment being done. My kids and I prefer to do the experiments in person on our own. That way it's just amazing and it's kind of fun to be able to manipulate whatever they're working with and see how it all works. And then they instruct you, here's where they say lesson 7 extension. So what that's referring to, and here we go. So that one was lesson 7, lesson 4, lesson 7. So this would be in the regular, more elementary. I got the girls the 7th and 8th grade journals, student journals for science. Even though they're younger, they're still so capable of doing the lesson extensions for the older kids. The older kids, yeah, you can have them do it more independently, more on their own. But why not take the time now while they're young to start teaching them how to critical think? We don't necessarily, like sometimes we get stuck and we're like, how do we teach that? Well, this is a great way to start having the kids ask questions. So anyways, let me explain this. This is what's in the typical elementary journal. And then the lesson extension is right here. And it also appears that this journal has more lined pages in here to take notes, to write answers. And I can use this according to however my kids are doing that day, whatever expectations I have of them. So for this one, it's for the extension, it's read the information. So we would read it together, especially because there's probably a lot of bigger words that they're not familiar with. Number 2, copy the definition of diffraction and list 2 examples of it. That's something we can work through together, and we can go through and work on highlighting skills. How amazing is that we can meet our kids where they have, where they need to start learning something, like the skill to pull information out of a text. This is a perfect opportunity. And then the 3rd instruction is draw and label an eye showing nearsightedness and another showing farsightedness. If they're not confident in drawing it, we can talk about the differences. We can draw a Venn diagram. We can discuss. And these are all learning opportunities so that once they're actually up to 7th and 8th grades, or maybe even before that, they'll be able and equipped to do this or something similar on their own. And that's why I want to encourage you, if you're thinking about homeschooling, just please look into it. It's not for everyone. And I know a few people who've tried and have chosen not to, and that's fine too. I just really encourage you to find what is going to fit your family's needs the most. Each of our children they're so individual, and some learn faster, some learn slower, some need a little bit more support here, and some others might fly by the same concept. My heart is really trying to reach out and encourage whoever I can to homeschool if you are truly interested. I'm happy to help answer any questions that you might have. Please, if you found this helpful at all, go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know what it was that you felt was helpful, or ask whatever questions that you might have. I'm more than happy to help you in whatever way I can to support you on your homeschool journey. I have been homeschooling my oldest since she was in 2nd grade. She's in 5th grade now. And my 7-year-old, I've been homeschooling since, just this past year. So this is my first year having 2 of my kids being homeschooled. And I also have a 4-year-old. She does go to preschool a couple days a week, but it's not like an all-day daycare kind of a thing. And there's learning curves, but I feel like we have had a lot of success, and I love the relationships that they've built with each other, and that I have been able to spend more time with them. I've just been so thankful for that. So anyways, if you are interested, go ahead and subscribe. I do also have one more little video to walk you through. I have planned out for what I've been using. Even though my 4-year-old goes to preschool, on occasion, she's like, "Mommy, do school with me." And I am more than happy to. So there are some things I work on with her, so I can share those next time. So have a great day, and I hope to see you soon.